team, shall we start or shall we wait for 4 minutes more? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Shivangi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Shall we wait for 4
Sabha
minutes?
is here. Is Sabha is here? I guess she's trying to connect.
No, she isn't. She's trying. Right.
We can wait for 2-3 minutes more.
सर एक 5 मिनट रुकेंगे, सब लोग आ रहे हैं.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we'll start at 11:05. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
बाबा मी आले होता बाबा
बघा म्यूट आवाज म्यूट कर बाळा.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Who is this?
Vijayta here.
हाँ विजेता आ रही है आपके पास.
Thank you.
Hello. Hi, Shivangi.
Yes, Sabha. Yes, we can hear you. Okay, we can start now. Team,
Okay.
be ready.
Shivangi, just a minute. Just give me 1 minute.
All right.
Yes, team, we can start. Let's start, please. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. By borrowing words from the great visionary and architect of our constitution, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, as I quote him, I measure the progress of a community by the degree of progress women have achieved. Good morning, everyone. I am Ms. Nachan Aisha Musaddiq, student of first year LLB of Dr. Ambedkar College of Law, Wadala. It is my privilege and honor to host this remarkable event today, and along with me is my co-host, Ruchi.
Hello. Good morning, each and every one of you. Myself, Ruchi Gupta, student of first year LLB from Dr. Ambedkar College of Law, Wadala. I am so delighted to co-host this event today. Once again, welcome you all. Over to you, Aisha.
The duty falls upon me, and I take immense pleasure in welcoming, firstly, our esteemed guest speakers, dignitaries of the management, respected principal, our valued faculty members, personalities from the legal fraternity, all students of LLB, GTL, and DLL, and also alumni of our college, and last but not the least, each and everyone in the audience. A very good morning to one and all. I once again welcome you. I request Shivangi to enlighten us on the topic of today's event. Shivangi?
Just give me. Thanks, Aisha, for giving me this chance. Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to all. My name is Shivangi Singh, and I'm a third-year law student at Dr. Ambedkar College of Law, Vadala. Today, on the occasion of Gandhi Jayanti, I feel proud and privileged to share my deep thoughts about today's web talk on Give Me a Chance. Before moving forward, I would like to quote the thoughts of Mahatma Gandhi, which says, "The status of women will not change merely by bringing legislations. It must be supported by changing the women's social circumstances and situations." With this great thought came the idea of today's web talk on women empowerment. Our history is evidence that proves women like Rani Lakshmibai, Sarojini Naidu, Rajya Sultan were more superior than men in terms of combat and administration. 21st century women like Kalpana Chawla, Malala Yousafzai, Oprah Winfrey have came over the barriers of society, freed themselves from the male dominant restraint, and emerged victoriously. Today is urging you all, the society, to give her a chance, to give me a chance, to share the responsibilities of home and children equally, so that I can find and utilize the strength that I own, to hold the authority of making my own decisions, so that I'm no more a suppressed gender. Give her a chance to get rid of the societal pressure of being a perfect woman. Every human being can be perfect. So am I. I need a chance to live in a peaceful society and not patriarchal.
Shivangi, we have lost your voice. Shivangi? Aisha, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Carry on, Aisha, carry
It's
on.
all right. Aisha, you can come ahead. Yeah, Aisha, you can take it from here.
Thank you, Shivangi. Yes, we have lost you. I believe what Shivangi was trying to say, that everyone deserves a chance to fly. What do we achieve from giving women a chance, you say? I proudly present before you two such women who took their chance and are soaring high in the sky. It is my honor to welcome our chief guest speaker, Srimati Deepa Gurjar, ma'am, Honorable Judge, Special Sessions Court, POSCO, and our international speaker, Miss Lucy Plummer, ma'am, Global Kindness Ambassador, UNESCO, who would be speaking later. Welcome, ma'am. A woman with book and a pen has the power to move nations. A woman with mind and a voice has the power to change worlds. To voice these thoughts, we have prepared a presentation. I invite Ruchi to take this further. Ruchi?
Thank you, Aisha. Today is 2nd October, which we celebrate every year Gandhi Jayanti. Mahatma Gandhi. Not many words can describe his notable achievements for India. With non-violence and satyagraha, the dhoti-clad, world-renowned leader received accolades for his bold, progressive thrust. Today, on his 152nd birth anniversary, let us consider his achievements to improve the condition of women. Bapu's thoughts on women and making them an equal in society are crucial. He had expressed his views and had written on numerous issues that concern the Indian society in particular and humanity in general. However, he raised issues of significant importance, which was need to be considered and has to be considered further, like equality of sexes, marriages, parda, dowry system, widow remarriage, divorce, women honor, education and co-education, birth control, and sterilization. Next slide. Let us try to understand. Let us try to understand what is women empowerment. Many of us have a misconception that women empowerment means giving more benefits to the women. But what a woman want is to exercise basic human rights and equal opportunity on her own will. Next slide. According to the United Nations, women empowerment mainly have 5 components. First, generating women's sense of self-worth. Second, women's right to have access to equal opportunities and all kind of resources. Third, women's right to have and to determine their choices. Fourth, ability to contribute in creating a more just social and economic orders. And the last, women's right to have the power to regulate and control their own lives within and the outside of home. What we can say, women empowerment is nothing but recognition of women's rights and creating an environment where they are treated as equal to men. To lighten up my thoughts, I would like to call upon my team member, Miss Sabha, to take it from here. Sabha.
Thank you so much, Ruchi. Good morning, everyone. I am Sabha Ansari, students of first year LLB, Ambedkar College of Law. We know what is women empowerment, but the question is why we need women empowerment when the answer is simple. Women empowerment is empowering the women to take them well educated and leave them free so that they can become capable to take their own decision in any field. It is nicely said, once a woman is on the move, the whole family moves. Then the village moves. At last, the nation also moves. Let's see how the nation moves. Next slide. Women empowerment play an important role in the development of a country. According to India's Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, the World Bank report share of women contribution to the GDP of India is at 17% presently. Also, as compared globally, women in India represent 25% of the labor force engaging in any form of work in the market economy. As we can see in the figure, India's female labor force by sector is 4% in wholesale and retail sectors, 5% in education sectors, 6% in construction department, 13% in manufacturing department, 63% in agricultural field, and 9% in other. Next slide, please. As we can see in the slide, we have received some different thoughts and their views on need for women empowerment. We need women empowerment because contribution of a woman is as equal to man, but still she is treated like a second person. This was the thought of Professor Saiba Kamle sir. Let's share with us. Next, Professor as Subhashchandra sir said, it is required for exercising the right to equality by women. I totally agree with you, sir. Our constitution also said to treated every people equally. Now move towards great thoughts from Professor Devdas Sinde. Let's women empowerment soar high in the sky for society to achieve her dreams. We are really thankful our students Sanket Chandane, TY LLB, Omkar Sambherao, FY LLB, and Aniket Kurne, TY LLB. I just read one thought for the transformation of a woman into a complete individual who is independent and self-reliant in all aspects of life. I really thankful to all for sharing their views. All of us that is definitely inspired to all women. Now I could like to invite my fellow team member, Miss Vijeta, to carry forward. Miss Vijeta.
Thank you, Sabha, for sharing your thoughts. Good morning, everyone. I am Vijayda Sonone, student of first year LLB from Dr. Ambedkar College of Law, Vadala. Why do we need empowerment? The answer is here in front of you. Challenges faced by women in India. The roots of the culture of any country are from the values inculcated into the people by different women in their lives. Women have the most celebrated presence in every aspect of our lives in the form of a daughter, a mother, a sister, or any such relation. Women were given the power to create life, and as we know very well, it is not an easy feat. There are still some rules and restrictions to women, even though India is an independent country. Where they have the strength to fight back, they keep on facing challenges throughout different phases of their lives. First comes education. Education is a power that should be available to all, but this is not the case in our country. People believe that educating women is more than they deserve, and they should be not able for marriage if they are capable, more capable than man. Families take away her right to study. So she is a perfect example of being a wife who slaves around the whole day. So if we have seen a bright future of women in our country, giving education to them must be a preoccupation. Educate her because she deserves it. Educate her because she can make her own decisions and stand up for herself. Educate her so that she can be independent and does not have to depend on anyone. Educate her because she can be strong and amazing and resilient and beautiful. Educate every girl because it's her right. Next, one of the serious issues that is poverty in the country. It is the greatest threat to place in the world, and eradication of poverty should be a national goal. If poverty were not a concern, then the girl child will be able to follow her dreams without concerns of sexual exploitation, domestic abuse, and no education or work. Now, come to the most crucial aspects of women in their life, their health and safety. The health and safety concerns of women are paramount for the well-being of a country. The empowerment of women begins with a guarantee of their health and safety. Next is
Change the
related to
slide.
her career. Acceptance as working professionals. As women enter the workforce, they are already entering an unequal landscape. The challenges faced by women leads to a serious lack of representation of women, especially at the senior leadership level position. There are many complex factors that come in the path of a woman's work life, denying her opportunities as well as posing challenges that deny her the right to have an equitable journey. One of the difficult job women can do very well, balancing work family life. No matter how high their position or designation is in the office, women in India still viewed as the family manager back home. The ideology is that a woman is important, but she cannot be more valuable than a man as he brings food to the table. Despite all this, she faces an insult, which is the wage gap. The wage gap in India is still quite wide. Some of the main factors that contribute to the existing gender pay gap in India are occupational preferences, cultural barriers, education and training, etc. Last but certainly not the least, and the most dangerous factor is crimes against women in India. It takes several forms. Mostly, these crimes results in lifelong trauma and death. Violence against women encourages physical, sexual, emotional, and mental abuse inflicted upon women. India is one of the most vulnerable countries when it comes to the number and amounts of crimes committed against women. Rape accounts for the most number of cases. Such high rates of violence against women occur due to the inherent patriarchal mindset of Indian folks. In addition to rape, the girl child abuse, girl child marriage, and abduction, it also accounts for the crimes that are carried out upon the Indian woman. Female infanticide is yet another example. The topic of violence against Indian women is of great concern. The concern should be immediately addressed. The concept of victim blaming should be stopped and proper actions should be taken. Now I would like to call my fellow classmates Aisha and Shraddha. Aisha?
Thank you, Vijayata. Next. To empower the woman, first we need to slay all the demons, killing women's rights and values in the society, such as dowry system, illiteracy, sexual harassment, inequality, female infanticide, domestic violence, rape, prostitution, illegal trafficking, and any other issues. Gender discrimination in the nation brings cultural, social, economic, and educational differences which push the country back. The most effective remedy to kill such devils is making women empowered by ensuring they have the rights and the laws to protect them. Do we have such provisions in India? One may ask, the answer to which is yes. The state has enacted various legislative measures intended to ensure equal rights, to counter social discrimination and various forms of violence, atrocities, to provide support services, especially to working women. Our Indian Penal Code have many of its sections dedicated towards women. To name a few, voyeurism under section 354C, stalking under section 354D, and eve teasing under section 509, rape under section 375, and punishment for rape under section 376, including gang rape, which is included in section 376D, and also goes so far as acknowledging that torture can sometimes even be mental rather than mere physical. Some of the special laws were enacted to further the objective of protecting women, some of which are the Maternity Benefit Act of 1961, the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971, Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, the Equal Remuneration Act 1976, the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act of 2005, and so on. Moving on to the constitutional provisions. Next. The principle of gender equality is enshrined in the Indian Constitution in its preamble, fundamental rights, fundamental duties, and even the directive principles of state policy. The Constitution not only grants equality to women, but also empowers the state to adopt measures of positive discrimination in favor of women. Within the framework of a democratic polity, our laws, development policies, plans, and programs have aimed at women's advancement in different spheres. To list some of them, Article 14, which gives equality before law for women. Article 15, where subsection 1 prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex, caste, religion, etc. Whereas subsection 3 allows the state to make any special provision in favor of women and children. Article 16 ensures that there is equality in opportunities and matters of public employment. Article 21, although safeguarding that no person is deprived of his life and liberty, subsection 22 stipulates the right of women to be treated with decency and dignity. Article 39A warrants equal justice and free legal aid for all. Article 243D and T guarantees reservation of seats so as to have appropriate reservation of women in panchayat and municipalities. Our government has also launched some special initiatives for women, which is next. Next. Next slide, please. Our government has also launched some special initiatives for women. Establishment of the National Commission for Women in January of 1992. The National Plan of Action for the Girl Child that ensures survival, protection, and development of the girl child. National Policy for Empowerment of Women with the goal to bring about advancement, development, and empowerment of women in socio-economic, political, and cultural aspects by creating in them awareness on various issues in relation to their empowerment. Now I invite Shraddha to proceed further. Shraddha.
Aisha. Good morning, everyone. I, Shraddha Kapati, student of first year LLB. I would like to continue the path with schemes for women empowerment by Indian government. One of the first steps towards women empowerment is ensuring that they have enough financial stability. The Indian government has recognized women's contribution to the country's economy and has introduced schemes and initiatives for them. Here few of them. First, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. The trend to decline in the child sex ratio defines the number of girls per 1,000 of boys between 0 to 6 years of age has been abated since 1961. To ensure survival, protection, and empowerment of a girl child, government has announced Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao initiative. This is being implemented through a national campaign and focused multi-sector.
Shraddha, I guess you're mute.
I think host muted me. Let's
Continue.
Yeah. This is being implemented through a national campaign and focused multi-sectoral action in 100 selected districts low in CSR, covering all states and UTs. This is a joint initiative of Ministry of Women and Child Development, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and Ministry of Human Resource and Development. The movement was launched on January 22, 2015. Second, Mahila eHeart. Mahila eHeart is an online marketing platform for women. Mahila eHeart is a unique online platform where participants can display their product. It is an initiative for women. It is an initiative for women across the country as a part of Digital India and Stand Up India initiative. Participation in eHeart is open to all Indian women citizens more than 18 years of age and women. Third, one-stop center schemes. Ministry of Women and Child Development has formulated a centrally sponsored schemes for setting up one-stop center, a sub-scheme of umbrella scheme for National Mission for Empowerment of Women, including Indira Gandhi Maitritva Sahayog Yojana, popularly known as SAKHI. The scheme is being implemented since 1st April 2015. The centers are being established across the country to provide integrated support and assistance under one roof to women affected by violence, both in private and public spaces, in a phased manner. Fourth, working women hostels. In Indian women who have to stay away from their home for job purpose or do not have anyone to house them often suffer from insecurities related to safety. The central government has passed a new scheme that is designed for meeting the housing requirement of working or helpless women. The name of the program is Working Women Hostel Scheme and will include children under special circumstances only. The main objective is to empower women. Fifth, Swadharya. The Ministry of Women and Child Development is implementing the Swadharya scheme, which targets women victims of difficult circumstances who are in a need of institutional support for rehabilitation so that they could lead their life with dignity. The scheme envisages providing shelter, food, clothing, and health, as well as economic and social security. For the women, the scheme was launched in 2002. Sixth, STEM, the support to training and employment program for women. It aims to provide skills that give employability to women and to provide competencies and skills that enable women to become self-employed entrepreneurs. The scheme is intended to benefit women who are in the age of 16 years and above across the country. The scheme has two bold objectives, that is, to provide skills that give employability to women and to provide competencies and skills that enable women to become self-employed entrepreneurs. Seventh, Nari Shakti Puraskar. Nari Shakti Puraskar is an annual award given by the Ministry of Women and Child Development of Government of India to individual women or to institutions that work towards the cause of women empowerment. The awards are presented by the President of India on International Women's Day, 8th March, at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. Now, we will have a glance at initiative by various corporates to promote women. Donors, NGOs, and local authorities have long recognized that investing in women from low-income countries is a key to development goal. Yet, the development community does not always consider the private sector as a partner in advancing women's empowerment. We believe that the business can be forbidden force for positive change, and that by integrating women's empowerment into corporate strategy, business can complement and enhance the work done by government and NGOs. Various big enterprises in India are working towards women empowerment and gender equality in a variety of ways. So let's have a look. First, Tata Group. Tata Steel announced that it was working on a roadmap to ensure 25% representation from diverse groups by 2020. While 20% of this number will be dedicated to women, the rest will come from the LGBTQ community. The company decided to create a bridge of women in bloom by enrolling, educating, and skilling girls from economically deprived areas. Genpact India. Genpact Signature Career 2.0 program is a unique initiative to bring women back to the workforce after they take a career break. Career 2.0 is an effort to change this by prioritizing and sensitizing employees towards recruiting women who are on a career break. Saplabs. Saplabs India has been at its forefront to nurture and incorporate diversity policies and help create a favorable ecosystem for growth and innovation within the organization. Saplabs has a sound diversity and inclusion initiative in place, focusing largely on gender diversity. They are also provided additional 16 weeks of extended maternity leave. The company is also focused on certain nuance of gender inclusion through its program assistant that encourages women to speak up, say no, and seize opportunities at the workplace. Welspun Group. It is said that behind every successful woman, there is a tribe of women who have her back. I would like to repeat this. It is said that behind every successful woman, there is a tribe of other women who have her back. Welspun is firmly committed to the empowerment of women, creating opportunity, providing training, and fostering an environment that enables them to earn a livelihood and self-reliant. Currently, 23% of its workforce are women, which it is targeting to increase to 30%. We can clearly see the efforts taken by various companies towards solving women-centric issues have begun to show encouraging results. It was reported that 72% of listed companies have disclosed the inclusion of women. It was reported that 72% of BSc listed companies have disclosed the inclusion of women-oriented projects as a part of their CSR. Let's hope and strive for a day when we won't need such special initiative for women, and it will be part of the system by default. Now, I would like to call my fellow student, Ms. Ruchi, to continue further. Ruchi?
Thank you, Aisha and Shraddha. To furtherance on this, I would like to talk about emerging role of women in enterprises. Over the past few years, India has recorded growth in women entrepreneurship. In India, there are about 8 million women who have started or are running their businesses. Apart from that, women have 24% share in corporate senior management. And in India, it's 30% for the same. If we talk about former enterprises owned by women, is 10% are being operated by Indian women. There are also businesses where women play important role, like professional service, IT service, apparel accessories, food and beverages, manufacturing, and heavy industry. As my colleague have discussed, how women were facing challenge over the past few decades, but now, slowly and steadily, It's changing with the time. Nowadays, number of women challenging themselves. They are doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs, and many more. A healthy work-life balance is one of the biggest challenges for women. A challenge that they must overcome for the sake of their own happiness and peace of mind. Thankfully, modern men are being to contribute towards the domestic duties in order to support their women to chase their dreams. Next slide. Women not only contribute in the corporate sector, but also in the agriculture sector, which is substantial source in growth of GDP. In rural India, 83% of women are actively engaged in agriculture compared to only 67% of men. As Secretary of State for the United States of America, Hillary Clinton rightly said, the status of the world's women is not only a matter of morality and justice, it is also a political, economic, and social imperative. Put simply, the world cannot make lasting progress if women and girls in the 21st century are denied their rights and left behind. I would like to call upon Ms. Sabha to convey her thoughts further. Sabha.
Thank you so much, Ruchi. Going further, we now come to the occupation, towards which women have contributed the most, which is agriculture. The simple example of this fact is in the drought-hit belt of Marathwada, deep in the western Indian state of Maharashtra. Women have been the driving force behind a new way of sustainable farming. Women are injecting new ideas into family farms, and farmers have established supply chain at the market and introduced vegetables to their humble dinner plates. Please, next slide. Inspirational stories have the ability to encourage us, motivate, and teach us valuable life lessons. Some stories will make you think, some stories might make you cry. Hopefully, some stories will give you the motivation to go for your dreams. They give us an empowering sense of hope. If she can do it, then so can I. First, Sudha Murthy began her professional career as a computer scientist and engineer. After that, there was not stopping her from just a small town girl. She became the first female engineer to be hired at India's largest auto manufacturer, Teleco company. Sudha ma'am always inspired everyone and said, live life for yourself and not for others. Next, Hima Das. Hima Das is the first woman athlete who represented India and obtained gold medal. The running event of the IAAF World Under 20 Championship. I am not running after gold medals. I am running after time. And once I get that gold medals, will run after me. This is very rightly by Hima Das. Next, we recently lost one of the most strongest women of modern India, Kamla Basin. Kamla Basin was Indian political, social activist, poet, and author. Basin work that began in 1970 focused on gender, education, human development, and the media. She is the best known for her work with Sangathan, a feminist network, and for her poem क्योंकि मैं लड़की हूँ मुझे पढ़ना है पढ़ने की मुझे मनाही है सो पढ़ना है मुझ में भी तरुणाई है सो पढ़ना है सपनों ने ली अंगड़ाई है सो पढ़ना है कुछ करने की मन में आई है सो पढ़ना है क्योंकि मैं लड़की हूँ मुझे पढ़ना है प्लीज नेक्स्ट स्लाइड Dr. Indra Hinduja is an Indian gynecologist and infertility specialist based in Mumbai. She has obtained PhD degree from Mumbai University. Previously, she delivered India's first test tube baby at Came Hospital on 6 August 1986. For her outstanding performance, she has obtained honor on many occasions. Next, Rita Sareen. She is the Global Vice President and Director of the Hunger Project in India. She has lead a nationwide alliances of more than 60 organizations implementing strategies to improve women in local democracy. She has committed her life to sustaining the leadership spirit of elected women at the grassroots level in India. Last but not least, Hema Kohli. Hema Kohli is a judge of Supreme Court of India. She is the former Chief Justice of the Telangana High Court and the first woman judge to hold that office. Justice Kohli was the legal advisor and standing counsel in the High Court of Delhi from 1999 to 2004. Lastly, I could like to say that giving women a chance is not a charity. It is a matter of right, and we will have it. So for that, give her a chance. Give me a chance. I request Ruchi to carry forward. Ruchi?
Thank you so much, girls. I am sure that the thoughts conveyed by all of us today will bring better tomorrow. Over to you, Aisha.
Yes, Ruchi. I really hope that we were able to make an impact or even just cleared minor misconceptions for some. The father of modern India, architect of our constitution, Bharat Ratna, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, is the backbone of women's rights and provisions in our constitution. We all women owe him to try our best in working towards his legacy. The greatest wisdom is listening to the guidance of the learned. Moving on, I urge Advocate Ashok Talwatkar, Deputy Chairman of the People's Education Society, to briefly share his thoughts. Sir.
Aisha, can you just take the name again? I guess sir is not able to join due to some prior commitment.
Advocate Ashok Talwatkar, Deputy Chairman of the People's Education Society. I guess he is not there.
Okay, we'll try to connect with sir. Meanwhile, you can continue, Aisha. Thank you.
I'll move on. Okay. Now I call upon Surbi ma'am to introduce our chief guest speaker. Surbi ma'am.
Thank you so much, Aisha. That was really going so well. I'm so happy to see all the guests here and the participants here. And I take this opportunity to introduce our chief guest, Mrs. Deepa Gurjar, Judge, District Judge, Special Court POSCO today. I take immense pleasure and pride in introducing such a personality who has taken and won over all the obstacles she had in her life and come out as an inspiring personality. I'll start with her early life and education, give you a brief idea about her earlier life. Okay, Deepa Gurjar ma'am, she was born in Jaipur district, Rajasthan, as a fourth girl child. And why emphasizing on fourth girl child is obviously the relevant. That's why. To Mrs. Pushpa and Shri B.D. Gurjar IRS. After completing her schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya, she finished her HSC in science and then bachelor's degree as well in science. After that, she chose to pursue a degree in law. And I'm glad to share with you all that ma'am is an alumnus of Mumbai University for law degree. And then after a brief stint as a lecturer in Rajasthan University, ma'am decided to pick up judiciary. And while fulfilling the traditional demands of our society, marrying and having children, she simultaneously continued preparation for judiciary exams, the highly competitive exams. She cleared her first competitive exam, RJS, which is entrance for magistrate. And after that, even she passed her public prosecutor exams also and led another exam. She cleared the ADJ of two states, UP and Gujarat as well. But it seems like that was not satisfactory for her. So she chose next higher and better aspire. Her aim she cleared RJHS, that is Rajasthan Higher Judiciary Services, for direct recruitment as a district judge, and she cleared that in 2013. And that was after that, there was no looking back. So I can actually say this for her, a woman who had stepped into the powerful designation of a judge in a state not particularly known for its gender equality and providing opportunities at par with the other gender. And I apologize for that statement, but yeah, okay. Someone once very correctly said, which is so much suitable for her, that there is no force equal to a woman determined to rise. This is so much true for ma'am and someone like that. Anyway, so first posted in a sessions court Bikaner, from there to Tada court in Ajmer, which was followed by MACT, which is Motor Vehicle Accident Tribunal, Pali district. After that, she was designated at Special Court POSCO as district judge in Bharatpur. So we can see the diversified portfolio she has. She was being designated till now in her professional career after joining as a district judge. And here I would like to specially mention ma'am's work in Lok Adalat, which she held in the places like Pali and Bikaner, where she decided on numerous cases harmoniously, and even apart from that, used to decamp court in Dungargarh for miscellaneous. These were additional responsibility apart from her routine responsibility as a district judge in these different district courts. I'm sorry for that. Okay. I highlight one more that Judge ma'am had been additionally in charge of women atrocities trial. And very important in her case is the challenges she faced. So easy to say when I say that she was the fourth girl child, and also she married and was settled and simultaneously pursuing highly competitive exams, and she even came out as a winner over there. So we can even imagine also the obstacles and the challenges she faced, but she won over those by her sheer determination. May it be dual responsibility of her Marathi home duties or upbringing two sons, and being a professional judicial officer aspiring for higher always. A highly inspiring and motivating journey till now, and a role model any young girl would actually look up to anytime. So she won all these battles and come out with her strong will, determination, perseverance, patience, coupled with her hard work, and broke all the gender stereotypes and earned the fruits. This attitude is worth noting, achieving milestone while managing a family of 4. So we are overly, actually, I am also grateful and fortunate to have a person like Judge Deepa Gurjar ma'am here amongst us as our guest speaker today. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. And we would like to now hear from you about your own experience, about your journey till now. So over to you, District Judge Deepa ma'am.
Thank you, Surabhi. Good morning and best wishes for the pious occasion of Mahatma Gandhi Jayanti. Well, my warm greetings to all the dignitaries. We have Miss Lucy Plummer, Ambassador for Global Kindness in UNESCO. Then we have Dr. Balchandra Mungekar, Chairman of Peace Society, and Advocate Ashok G. Talwatkar, Deputy Chairman of People's Education Society, and Dr. L.B. Waghmare, the Trustee of Peace Society, and the campaign team, Sanjay, Waghulde, the principal of this the Dr. Ambedkar's College, and Professor Subhashchandra, Senior Faculty Member, all the presenting team, all the performers, the participants, the faculty members, the students, and all the audiences. My warm greetings to all. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing team for giving me this opportunity to be the part of this very pious webinar, which is conducted on the topic of Give Me a Chance. See, the thing itself is very, very clearly saying, very completely defining the condition of women. I mean, at the very ground level, she's been deprived of getting the chance to get the exposure. That is the very first requirement for everyone, to show, to prove, and to make a place in the society.
And it is directly related then this scene of women empowerment. This women empowerment is, we can see what is women empowerment. It is actually the process that creates a sort of powers in women to live a happy, a respectful life in a society. And they are empowered when they are able to access the opportunity in a variety of fields, such as education, profession, and lifestyles, and etc., without any gender-based restrictions and limitations. Empowering a woman with all their rights in the family, in the schools, in the society, and colleges, the country in turn. So much has already been discussed about the women empowerment, but just would share a little bit of introductory part, what the United Nations, what the international level, how it is, this topic is being taken up. Firstly, it laid down the responsibility over the parents that the women should have the sense of self-worth. She should have these kind of habits, this kind of sense should be inculcated by the parents, that she should feel that she's worth for something. And then the right to have the access to all the opportunities. A woman should have the resources with the opportunities. And then, of course, the power to control her own life, indoors and outdoors. And also to have the ability to influence the direction of social changes to create a more flexible social and economical system at the national and at the international levels. Now, let's see the condition of women in our country. In India, it is, I mean, our country, India is famous for its very geographical heritage and a traditional civilization and religious features since ancient times. But in ancient times, the condition of women was different compared to what it is today. In ancient times, she was considered as a very respectful, divine, and she had a lot of responsibilities, and she was holding the power also, administrative powers were there. And the main thing which was working in those days, it was like, Yatra pujante naryastu, tatra ramante devta. That means जहाँ स्त्री की पूजा होती है अर्थात सम्मान दिया जाता है वहां पर देवताओं का वास होता है. So that was actually not कि भाई पूजा है the only thing is that she was at least equally treated, respectfully treated, and she should have the equal platform to live with. And in those days the womanhood was idealized as an honorable. She was holding a very honorable position both inside and outside the home. During the epic era period, in the Indian civilization, the pre-Vedic era was a bliss for Indian women. Because the concept of this patriarchal society and these gender inequalities were not in existence. And the things, as the time passes by, the things had been changed, the mindset of the people had changed, and this had directly affected the condition of this gender. Even practically, we can very easily make out how the day she takes birth. Excuse me.
Please
am I audible?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Right from the day when she takes birth, that time only we can see the comparative, the welcome what she received and the welcome how the other gender receives the welcome. And when a boy takes birth in the families like our families, so there all the it's a kind of celebration all around, and his physical development, education development, and career boosting becomes the very first agenda of that family. Whereas when the girl child develops, it's nothing, very silent, and just a simple information that okay, the girl child took the birth. And later on, she's also bound to help and be supportive to the growing boy and man in the family. And later on, she gets married, bound to get married and follow. Now the next guardian becomes her husband. That husband will take care of how she's living, what she has to wear, what she has to bear, when she has to get up, when she has to sleep. So these all decisions would be taken up by the next guardian, that is husband. Practically, these things that I'm discussing because what is happening generally in our normal families. And later on, this full-time kind of selfless, respectless services has to be given by her. But despite providing all these services and these things, there are few things that women who would try to protest these definitely comes out of these, and she can make her respectful position. She achieves definitely if she puts all the efforts, and in such adverse conditions also it works. But simultaneously also she faces the allegations that directly comes over her nature, character, her lifestyles. So what I mean to say is actually it's a kind of a double struggle for a woman. Firstly, the actual requirement of the hard work and devotion which she for the career she's opted, and secondly for the kind of patriarchal mindset of the society that is more dangerous, that is a kind of hidden things you face. And but then also somewhere we become more immunized with these things, and we have the capability to prove ourselves. And of course simultaneously even our governments are playing very important roles. The legislations are there in our favor. For example, these many of things have been already discussed, the enactments, these Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act, then Equal Remuneration Act, Maternity Benefits, Dowry Prohibition, Sati Prevention Act, then Prohibition of Child Marriages, and many more. At the same time, we have the policies of these government policies, which are also very much helpful if we go for them, and like National Commission for Women to provide legal and safeguards to the women. Then the reservation, this reservation for the women in local government formations, the National Plan for Action for the Girl Child. These are provided for the survival of the girl child and for our better future. Then we have Sakhi, that is actually funded by Nirbhaya's funds and provides the one bench aids. That is, police will also be there, the legal aid will be given, the medical facilities will be provided to the victims of such heinous offences. But these, let me see how these are practically implemented. I mean, these are more in the papers and very less in the field, not worked out to the satisfying level. And this can be easily seen by just look at the datas. For example, if you see that what is the birth rate of females of 943 over 1000 male child. Then the education ratio is just 59% in females, whereas it is 78% in males. And the ratio of labor force, that is just 20% in women, whereas 76% in men. Where, yeah, one point is there where we are leading, that is undernourishment. So there 25% of the women are undernourished, whereas 14% in males. So these are the data. And beside this, the crime rate has also risen to a very serious level. And being a presiding officer in a POSCO court, I realized one thing which I wanted to share with you all. That the main root cause I observed was the very kind of their poverty, a very poor economical condition, and lack of education. Because generally what happens, the father goes out for doing some kind of labor or karigar type of, and their mother, she's doing all this domestic work and domestic helper. The child remains all alone at home. And ultimately she becomes the target of any passing by person or whoever to take the advantage and commit such offenses. So these are the main things. I mean, what should be done is how to eradicate such problems. They are bound to go out to earn something, whereas the girl child is all alone at home. This is also kind of very helplessness for them. So that was the thing I wanted to share. That is the poor economical condition was their main cause. But despite these poor supportive circumstances, the woman plays multiple of functions when she tries to pursue her career.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you're clearly
Others,
audible.
please mute
Audience,
yourself.
yeah, mute yourself, others, please.
All right. So
yes, ma'am, carry.
Okay. So beside these, beside taking care of these household functions and upbringing the children and all other rest of the things, here I would like to mention, but that still the changes are there in our society. The women are coming up with their kind of a very strong devotion, and even the governments have also done a lot in this direction. Many of the fields which were earlier on only meant for the men, now these are open for the women also. For example, in the field of defense, army, women pilots are there, and in the driving of the public transportation vehicles, you can see the locomotive driver these days. So at least they are given chances, opportunities, and even we can recently have seen that they are playing very meritoriously in the sports also. India has received many of the medals in last 5-6 years, and that was not only because of the men, but also the women were playing very meritoriously. So these were the things which cannot be overlooked. And in our judiciary, you won't believe that from last 3-4 years, we are having 3 times more lady judges compared to the other gender, the men. And so we are doing well, and we are getting, and those who are getting the opportunity, they are showing also, they are proving themselves. Recently, we have come across one of the very, our president, His Excellency, has made one statement. It was very intense and good statement. What he said, that we should have more women judges in the Indian judiciary, as the women are more honest in imparting justice and perform very sincerely. So it was very great pleasure to hear such lines, such motivating lines from great personality. And recently, our Chief Justice of India, he had also mentioned that women will only have true equality when men share with them the responsibility of bringing up the next generation. So things are changing, and the dimensions are also changing at the same time. It is all about the consolidating the social, educational, employment decision making, and the economical powers of the women, and to create the environment where there is no gender bias and have equal rights in society and in the workplaces. Women empowerment needs to take higher pace to equalize the value of both genders in this country. The inequalities between the men and women in our society creates lots of problems and plays a very significant role in creating hurdles in the way of success of individuals, and then adversely affects the development of a particular nation. In the end, I would just request all the concerned stakeholders, family members, just at least give them the chance. Give them a little, not a little, at least give them the opportunities, support them, and give the opportunity to prove herself. Don't deprive of her life, her respect, what she deserves. Trust your girls. That's the thing I wanted to share with you all. And with this note, I would finish up my speech and thanking all the organizing team, then the college, Dr. Ambedkar College for Law. And this college is doing very well. I've seen the profile, the programs conducted, and the lectures delivered, the students' programs. Many times I've come in contact. So my best wishes to all the students, and thanks to organizing team. I wish all the very best to the students. Be a progressive, grow up, but don't forget to be a good citizen. And warm regards to all. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Deepa Gurjar ma'am. That was really, really very inspiring, and sharing with us your so intense thoughts and guiding and giving so much encouragement. I'm sure many of our students must be who are aspiring to be at that place would definitely get a lot of help from this and shining star. So ma'am, we got some questions which are relevant to our today's program, as well as your place you hold today. So if you are comfortable, we would like to receive, we have received these questions, so we would like to ask them, if you're fine with that, Deepa ma'am, with your due permission.
Yeah, please.
Thank you so
glad to.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Yeah. So, ma'am, we would like to know that if you can share with us your experience about any case which you found difficult as a judge?
Well, being a judge, actually, sometimes the things are even the false cases. They are so emphatically written and mentioned, and these are drafted, that somewhere it becomes difficult to find out how the things have actually happened, and the witnesses, they are to a certain extent, these laws we have, these are enacted in the times of British rulers, and what we are dealing today they are the people basically from the rural belt.
Ma'am, I guess you're mute.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, now you're audible.
All right. So in the POSCO cases, sometimes the people are from very rural background. They don't even understand what are the documents which are collected by the police officers, where they are signing, what are they writing. So these are the things which affects adversely. But this is all the kind of challenge, and because of the other corroborative evidences, the statements of the witnesses, we find out how the things would have been actually happened. So there is no any special as such case which should be discussed. And all right, I would just mention one case. I was in Ajmer, posted as a SCB judge. One case was there before me. It was about an IPS officer, and the Anti-Corruption Act, it clearly needs a permission from the government to prosecute such an officer. But the permission was not granted under the anti-corruption laws. And the other section that were of IPC, he was tried by me because the co-accused was also there. He was his permission was granted to prosecute him under anti-corruption cases. So there it was very difficult. I mean, the main culprit, we can say, he was not having those charges, but the one who had played a little minor role in the whatever the offense was committed, he was prosecuted for anti-corruption laws. But in that case also, I did we had summoned the Chief Secretary of Home Department and took the affidavit from them why the permission has not been granted. Then they have submitted their affidavit. It was clearly saying they regretted also, they repented, they filed that it was by mistake. The last sentence, the sections of PCA were not being mentioned. Otherwise, rest of the order was very clearly of describing how the things were granted permission. So later on, he was tried for this, but it was actually, unfortunately, I was transferred from that posting. But that was quite a difficult case to get the permission and to actually bring the culprit on record and then to decide the file. So that was the thing I felt.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. That was really something to hear about.
Next question. Hello.
Yeah.
I'm audible?
So, yeah. Hello. Yes,
Hello.
ma'am, you're audible. Clearly, we heard
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Thank you so much for your inputs. I guess we lost connection. Hello, Deepa ma'am.
Hello. Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes,
now
yes.
we can hear you. Yeah, now we got you. We missed for a brief moment.
All right.
Can you hear us, ma'am? Deepa ma'am,
Yeah,
can
yes,
you
ma'am.
hear us?
Yes, very clearly.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for your insights, inputs. If you're comfortable, we would like to ask you a couple of more questions.
Yeah, please.
Fine.
Fine,
Okay.
absolutely fine.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. So Deepa ma'am, could you share with us what motivates you as a judge? What motivates you as a judge?
Well, this was actually not one day's motivating thing. It's kind of from the surroundings you see, how the things goes unfair, how the real things, I had actually the nature of, in all walks of my life, I had been very judicious and tried to bring out the truth. I never took a shelter in falsities. So that was the main reason. And then fortunately got the opportunities also. And of course, my family members were there to support me pursue this basic nature, you can say. This was the main cause. In fact, in my family also, I have very inspiring members. My elder sisters, Surbhi is there in the beginning when she was in school days. She was very sincere, very intelligent, and of course honest. And my father, he's also having he had also held a very good position in central government. So these were the factors which really affected me to achieve heights and to remain on your honest stand and to always whatever may happen, but always try to be fair. That's it. You may lose many things, but never mind. Whatever is your what do you say, the priority should be followed. I never compromised on my principle. That's it. All right. And next question. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for sharing with us with this idea of having clear priorities and never to compromise on your principles. Really very strong statement. All of us should actually inculcate that. So I would just ask us a small question similar. If you can share with us the challenges you faced as a judge and how would you face them? Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Yes, now we can see you. Yeah. Okay. You want me to repeat the question?
No, it's okay. I got it. The challenges are more or less common. I mean, it is for all the judges. When you sit on the dais, you have to be not only that judicious, but it has to be seen that things have been done judiciously. So fair opportunity should be given to both the parties. Whereas the party who has grievances and comes in the court, again, I would repeat that generally, especially the blue collar crimes, the victims of blue collar crimes, these are from very background and educated grounds. And the law, again, we are dealing with these are of very kind of in the 90s, it has been enacted. So we need to have the new, as per these requirement of the society, a little amendment should be there. And as the things are that both the parties should be fairly dealt, opportunity should be given. All right, this is all good. But at the same time, one side defending advocates and the other side also the advocates, but what the parties actually need to say, how the things that happen, sometimes these are not covered by the you can say in the records, because they are not supported by, you can say, the laws are different. And these are the main challenges we face, the delays, the prolonging, the witnesses, they are not coming to the courts. Then we are trying our best to call them, summoning them 2-3 times, then issuing bailable warrants and all those practices. So this is actually the prolonging process, and that ultimately leads to the kind of losing the spirits in judiciary, especially to the common man. He suffers a lot. But there we are supposed to we are bound by the laws. We have to go by what are the provisions of law. We cannot drag from the house and bringing the witnesses to the court. All right. So these are the main things I feel. Next question.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with us these challenges. Although I couldn't agree more with that, facing the trouble of summoning the witnesses, they going hostile and delaying the process of justice, and you all handling that and facing. Thank you. My last question for you is your views on this current situation of online hearing. What do you have to say about that, ma'am?
Online hearing is to a certain extent, is it helpful when some kind of these kind of serious pandemic are all around and making people suffer seriously? But in other way, online hearing means you can have a very limited scope of vision. You cannot see what are the documents the witness is speaking to you and what actually he's looking at the document. You can have a very preached kind of statement. All right. So you cannot see how is he giving whether statements are truly recorded. And secondly, hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Secondly, if we see the people from especially those are coming to the courts, they are not having such facilities of giving the online or using this online facility. They have to be still that process of coming to the court, physically appearing in the court. They have to go for it, because ultimately this justice is meant for all. We cannot say that very few sections should be privileged with the having online hearing, and some of the
Connection. Hello, I guess we lost that connection. Hello.
Yes, Surabhi ma'am. I guess we lost.
I think we lost the connection, right?
Surabhi ma'am.
Okay.
We'll try to get in touch with ma'am.
Yeah, I will try to get in touch with her. But almost the question written was anyways done, and we got our lot of information we wanted from her directly. So that was really enriching an experience. Thanks to her. And now I would like to hand over to my colleague Ayesha. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Surabhi ma'am. And I really hope that we were all able to achieve some of the guidance from ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Deepa ma'am, for that session. And also thank you, Surabhi ma'am, for enlightening us with the question and answer session. Now I invite Ruchi.
Thank you, Aisha. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our international guest speaker for this event, Miss Lucy Plummer. Miss Lucy is a youth worker by profession. She is passionate about supporting young people's personal and social development and inclusion in society. She completed her Bachelor's degree of Science in Youth Studies at London Metropolitan University in 2014. Miss Lucy is also very passionate about environmental protection and sustainability issues, which developed most strongly during the 4 years which she spent living, working, and traveling in India from 2016 to 2020. Most of the social projects she worked were focused on educating young people about social and environmental issues and supporting them to take action. She worked with Club Global for a year and toured India visiting schools to have conversation with students about issues including gender equality and climate change. In 2019, she was selected by UNESCO through Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Education for Peace and Sustainable Development as one of 100 global youth leaders to participate in the first World Youth Conference on Kindness in New Delhi. She co-founded the Global Youth Alliance for Kindness, for which she served for 1 year as a steering committee member. She then returned to the UK in 2020 to complete her master's degree of science in sustainable development at the University of Sussex. Her dissertation project studied the experiences of youth participants in international climate policy making process at the United Nations to better understand how power dynamics between adults and youth limit young people's ability to influence decision making. She graduated in September 2021 and now works as a program manager for the British Youth Council, where she managed the NHS, that is, National Health Service Youth Forum, and the Bank of England Youth Forum, which are both well-established programs that provide a platform at a national level to enable young people to diverse backgrounds to have a strong voice in shaping health and finance practice and policy. Miss Lucy has also delivered 2 TEDx talks, one on the power of kindness and the other on her personal project, which was called Women and Freedom. She also a Nirchen Buddhist and supports the International Buddhist Organization Soka Gakki International as a young women leader. Ma'am, kindly request you to enlighten your thoughts. Over to you, Lucy ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ruchi. Can you everybody hear me okay?
Yes,
okay?
Yeah, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much, for inviting me. It's a real honor to be here with you this afternoon. Actually, it's morning time for me. And thank you so much to all the staff and colleagues of Dr. Ambedkar College of Law, Wadala, Mumbai. It's a real honor to be here, so thank you so much. And also to my friend Shivangi, who I met and worked with in Mumbai. Thank you for inviting me today. It's a real honor. And I'm going to try and introduce myself in Hindi. Namaskar, mera naam Lucy hai. I don't have very much Hindi, Tode Hindi, so I hope that is okay and I said it correctly. I apologize if my accent is difficult for anybody to understand. I will try to do my best to speak a bit slower, and maybe it will be helpful. But yeah, I'm really honored to be able to share some of my own personal experiences and my own encounters of women's empowerment, both from the UK, which is my home country, and also from India, where I worked and I lived for 4 years. So I'm going to share a little presentation on the screen, and I'm going to start with a story from India, actually, to start my presentation. So are you able to see the screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay. Okay. So in 2017, I was traveling in the north part of India, in Uttarakhand, and I was going for some trek in the Valley of Flowers. So I got a flight to Dehradun, and I was going to Rishikesh in the auto rickshaw. So in the back of this auto rickshaw, I met these two young women. I believe they were college students. They had been in Bangalore for some study trip, and they were returning to their village. And we got talking, and they asked me, like, what are you doing here? I said, I'm just going for some trekking. And they're very surprised that I was there and I was by myself, and I was just, going off to trekking by myself. So one of the girls, she said to me, wow, you live so free. You must be having so much freedom. And I've traveled quite a lot by myself. This was my main passion when I was in my 20s. And this is something, this comment, wow, you live so free, is something that I used to hear quite a lot of the time, especially from the young women that I would used to meet out on the road. I thought, because in my country, in the UK, this is quite a common aspiration, I would say, for young women to, go travel and see the world. So I thought that everybody wanted to kind of live this lifestyle. But from spending time from India, the attitude of mine changed quite a bit, and I'll go on to explain why it changed. But I thought that, this was what freedom meant for everybody. But I started to question this attitude of mine, and I started a project. At this time, I was just traveling, and I wanted to be a travel writer, actually. I didn't know what I wanted to do for my career. I never really grew up having an idea about what I wanted to do. So I had quit my job as a teacher back in the UK. I used to teach geography, and I did some other youth work with young offenders in prisons. But I really wanted to pursue this passion of mine of travel writing. And I came to India, and I started having all these conversations with young women. I started to become more interested in the topic of women's empowerment and women and freedom and women's rights. So I started a project called Women and Freedom, and it was a very simple project. So I would travel, and I would ask young women especially on the road, whoever I meet in different places around India, like, what does freedom mean to you? And I would like to share a few of these stories that I encountered, which really opened my mind beyond my own country to the way that other people live. So the first story I want to share with you is from a young woman, Minnie, her name is, and I met in Calcutta. She's a gym master, as you can probably see that. And freedom for Minnie means being able to be physically strong and have muscles without people judging her. And in our conversation, Minnie told me that doing fitness in the gym is a big part of her empowerment, because it makes her feel strong and it makes her feel able to protect herself when she needs to. But she also told me that she has many challenges living this lifestyle. She said that many men feel intimidated by her and they call her names, but also women also judge. And she told me that one day in her office, one of her women colleagues said to her, "Abbas, that's enough, you should stop now." But she doesn't stop, and she actually uses her social media to share her journey, to empower other women to live their ideas of freedom. So freedom to her means it's okay to have muscles and to be strong and be a woman. So the next story that I want to share. So I met Shalini on a train in Mumbai. I used to commute, Shivangi will know this, I used to commute in the mornings to work on the local trains, which was quite a different experience for me. But yeah, I met Shalini on the train one afternoon, and she's a 22-year-old graduate who wants to be a social worker. So Shalini was offered entry into 2 fellowship programs in social work. She wants to work to improve education for rural children, but she wasn't allowed to take up these fellowships because she told me that it was not just her decision, it was her whole family's decision, and her family had other plans for her. So she went on to do a master's, I think it was in some business related field. But she said she doesn't regret this because she's still determined to pursue social work. She will use all of the skills that she learns in the business masters to become a social worker in the future. And what I found was really quite touching about Shalini's story was she said, just for the fact that she wants to make her own choices, she feels that she's being rebellious and she feels that she's being bad, and she felt really bad for creating conflict in her family, because she loves her family and she doesn't want that, but she also wants to pursue the things that that she feels really passionate about. So this was a challenge that she faced, and when I asked her what freedom means to her, she says, I'll read from the screen. She said, "I think freedom is to choose what you want. Maybe that means to decide to stay with your family, to decide not to stay with your family, to marry or not to marry. That freedom is freedom that I am not given, but I choose to take it." So this is the story of Shalini. Another story that I would like to share is from Menaka, and she's from Kerala. Menaka was a successful financial analyst in Bangalore when she decided to quit her job and move back to her home in Wayanad to become an organic farmer. And she's an only child, so you can probably imagine better than I can how her family and the other villagers must have felt about her decision to do this. You know, she's a lady in her late 30s, so single lady in her late 30s. So you can imagine the kind of challenges that Menaka had to face when she went back to Wayanad with this decision. And she told me, people were treating her like a child, that they were not taking her seriously, that nobody would listen to her. When she asked them to do something for her, nobody wanted to help her just because she's a woman. But she didn't give up. She actually worked really hard to study farming by herself, like using different online videos and tutorials and reading books and talking to other people. She studied hard and she taught herself organic farming. And now she has a very successful homestay where she has international guests from all over the world coming to stay with her. And she's pioneering chemical-free farming in her village. And now people are coming to her to learn. So even men in the village are coming to learn from her about how she's doing so well. So she is finally getting, respect in her village, but she worked very hard for it. And when I asked her what freedom means to her, she said, freedom to me means let me make mistakes and take responsibility for them. So it was, a very simple idea that she had. And just one more story I'll share. This is, I met in Pune, actually, a 63-year-old housewife. Her name is Usha. And in our conversation, she said this, so I'll just read from the screen. She said, I have been married for 41 years. My life has been all about my family, my husband, and my kids. Now I am 63 years old and my kids are living their lives. It's just me and my husband who's retired. I want to live the life that I missed without worrying about my responsibilities as a housewife. I want to travel whenever I want, whenever I want. I don't want to be the one expected to manage a house. So freedom for Usha is not about only being seen as a mother and a wife, but also as a person who has her own dreams and desires. So it's not just, of course, young women that have dreams and aspirations, but everybody does. So there were many more women that I met and many more stories that I heard about what freedom means to individuals. And I'm sure that there are millions more. I'm sure in this webinar, each one of us has our own story that we could share. And not just in India, but every corner of the globe. And I realized through doing this project and speaking with women that women's empowerment is about supporting women to achieve their ideas of freedom and not taking that choice away and deciding, this is what every woman wants to do and I'll make the decision for them, but actually listening and trying to, be respectful and supporting what this individual woman wants. And so this project, I was invited to give a TEDx talk in Mumbai in January 2019 about this. So this is available online. I think if you wanted to see it, Shivangi, I'm sure will share the link for this.
I will.
Thank you. But I guess my main learning from this is that every woman has her own dreams for her life and her own ideas about freedom. Mine in my 20s was about being able to travel and to roam and see different places without being consistently told that I was just wasting my time and I should be serious and I should find a job. And I worked really hard to save up money to travel and to live this lifestyle. And this was my choice. It wasn't something that it was given to me. I quit school when I was 17 and I wanted to earn money so I could travel and do this. So this was my idea of freedom. But it was very difficult because everyone would say, you're wasting your time. Like, why are you not looking for a job, husband, having children? I thought when I'm ready, then I'll do that if I want to. But right now, this is what I love to do. So many times the expectations that society have for a woman can mean that women can't find the time or are not able to pursue their ideas of freedom. They have to live up to the expectations of somebody else. But what I found in my project is that many ordinary women they're doing so much in their own way, in the ways that they can to challenge the restrictions they have on them. And they're actually, in doing so, they're gaining a lot of respect, and they're from the people around them, their families and their communities and societies, and they're changing people's mindsets about what a woman is capable of. So I had so much respect for everyone that I met. And something I also noticed, which was common in all of these stories, was that there was at least one other person, and this was usually a man, who was really played a really important role in supporting the women to achieve their dreams. And it was usually by kind of protecting them from other people's prejudices and restrictions. For Minnie, it was her husband who was supporting her. For Menaka, it was her father. For Shalini, it was her brother. And for Usha, it was her son. So although we're talking about women's empowerment, it's important not to forget the important role that men play in supporting the women in their lives to live their dreams and to live their ideas of freedom. So I've spoken mostly about India there, but obviously India is not my home, so I'm just an observer. My home country is the UK, as I've just said. So Shivangi has asked me to share a little bit about women's empowerment in the UK, which I can try to do. I'm not an expert, but I hope that I can enlighten some information to the conversation today. So I just wanted to say that this is not a comparison of India and the UK, because they're very different countries and different cultural, religious, historical backgrounds. So very different journeys, very different situations. This is, not a comparison, but just an idea about what it's like in the UK. But even though India and UK are very different in them ways, this idea of patriarchy, which is I would say a system where the concentration of power is held by men and they get to decide, make the decisions for society. This is not something that exists only in India, and it's a system of power. It's a structure of power that has existed in many countries across history, across time, and the UK is no different. And it's had a long history of women's struggles for equality and empowerment. And just to kind of emphasize this point, I want to share with you this magazine article that was published in the 1950s, so not even that long ago. And it's about being a good wife in Britain. It might be a little difficult to see this, so I might read some bits, but this was like some guidance given to women in a monthly magazine about their role as a wife. So you can see things. The first one, it says like, have dinner ready. Most men are hungry and they expect a good meal, so make sure you give him a warm welcome. Prepare yourself. Put on makeup, put a ribbon in your hair and be fresh looking. What else does it say? It says things like prepare the children, make sure you comb their hair, be happy when you see him, give him a smile, listen to him, remember his topic of conversation is more important than ours, make this evening his, never complain if he comes home late. So you get what I'm trying to say. Like this was the expectations of women and housewives, even in the 1950s, as early as this. So there was a lot of struggle to get to like improvements there. And obviously now things have changed quite a lot in that time. And you would never see something like this. You would never ever see something like this in the paper, or even, I mean, some people might make jokes about these things, but you wouldn't see this. This is not the general attitude in society that is promoted. But still, women have a long way to go in terms of having equal opportunities as men and being equally recognized for our services, and even being treated the same and same respect given to women. So I'll just share some figures now about current UK and the status of women's empowerment. So although women make up 51% of the population in the UK, they are only 29% politicians, 25% of judges, and 24% of the top 100 directors in the country. So this means basically that in politics, in law, and in business, women's voices are not really getting heard, and also women's voices are not shaping society. They're not really part of the decision making that's happening. So these decisions are still predominantly being made by men. And women still occupy the lowest paying jobs in society. And this is not even considering all the unpaid work that women do, looking after their families, cooking. These are not considered work. So these are not compensated like work. So I believe that many women have like two full-time jobs if they are working and also looking after the home. So 3/4 of the people who've done minimum wage jobs, so these are like the jobs that pay the most minimum in the last 10 years, are women. So 3/4 have been women. And for every £1 that a man earns, the working woman earns 81 pence. So we have lots of gender inequality in terms of pay still. But, you know, a lot's being done to try and close this gap. A lot of women, or a lot of men in the industry and women are standing up and saying, you know, I'm not working until I get the same as, you know, my female counterpart or my male counterpart. So there's a lot going on in that terms. This is very shocking for me. Around 1.2 million women suffer domestic abuse a year, and every day there are 250 rapes or attempted rapes, and the conviction rates are very low. Even at the moment, right now, currently in the UK, there's 2 very high-profile cases of very, very disturbing cases of young women going home from work and being raped and murdered. And one was even by a police officer. So this is right now happening in the news. And yeah, very despicable crimes that are still happening to this day. And, you know, there's out in the streets, there are people doing vigils for these young women, putting candles and having prayers, because women have had enough of this kind of behavior. Yeah, recently it has been estimated, though, that unleashing women's full potential, so allowing women to access this space without any restrictions, could add 10% or over 180 billion to the UK's GDP by 2030. So if this was all the women that who wanted to work did work, it would add up to 10% to our annual GDP. So women's empowerment is not just about benefiting the women or being nice and kind and being like good people and supporting women. It's actually benefits the whole society, including economic empowerment. So yeah, and I would just say there are many ways to work towards women's empowerment. Laws are really important because they establish expectations of how citizens and a society should behave, and they set the norms. They also mean that individuals and businesses, they can be held accountable and punished if they go against these expectations. What is also, I think, is really important that things are done at the grassroots and community levels as well. So I think what happens in the most micro unit of society, which is the family, is very important, and it lays like the foundations of a society. So things like challenging gender stereotypes and raising boys and girls in a way that doesn't reinforce these stereotypes or makes one gender do this and the other one do that. These are the things that are shaped in the family, and these values and attitudes and mindsets, especially of young people. So the role of education in this is very important. So yeah, I think it's just the responsibility of society as a whole in all different of the levels to just really base on respect for women and appreciating the wisdom and the capabilities that women have and not restricting them in any way. So I think I'm going to stop sharing my presentation now. And yeah, I believe Shivangi has some questions for me.
Yes, Lucy, I do have questions for you. But before that, let me thank you for sharing the bundle of experience and knowledge with us. It was actually amazing to hear your journey and what all amazing work you have been doing. I hope a lot of people here today must have got inspired by you. To connect this link of inspiration, I have got some questions for you on behalf of all the students out here. Please enlighten us with your reaction. So the first question for you is, how would you describe freedom, especially of women?
Thank you so much for your kind words, Shivangi. I would, I guess, going back to what I was speaking about, it's just appreciating that women, not only women, but every individual has their own hopes and dreams, which they want to pursue. But for women, it's particularly hard for them to be able to achieve, for us to be able to achieve this, because there are all these other expectations that society has. So I would say freedom is understanding and appreciating the uniqueness of women and their contributions, and really just trying to support and protect the freedoms of women. Yeah, it's nothing mind-blowing or mysterious. It's really respecting the individual desires and ideas and wants of the women. So I would say this.
Very well quoted, Lucy. We'll go to another question. What are your thoughts on women empowerment? And could you please share the challenges you faced till now as a woman?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for the question. I think my thoughts on women's empowerment is that it's not just it's beyond a basic right. It's something that is actually critical to the development of an organization or a society, even in terms of the Sustainable Development Goals, which is the UN's current development agenda. Gender equality is there, but it's not just about achieving gender equality, but it actually has an impact on all the other 17 goals. So it's something that is beyond just, it's a nice thing to do, or it's a nice sentiment. It's about, it's an urgent priority, I would say. And it's something that has a lot of misconceptions also. People think that, women's empowerment is about like depowering men, or it's about it, but it's not. It's actually how to bring women up to the same opportunities and the same level of respect as other genders. And I would say in terms of my own challenges as a woman, yeah, just what I really mentioned in my presentation about when I quit school at 17 and just wanted to travel and pursue my own things. I didn't have an interest really in this career or like finding a husband and children, and it was quite difficult. I worked very hard to be able to save up money to go traveling, and when I'd come back home and do that, people would be asking me, so if you finish now, have you stopped like messing around and these things. I was like, it made me feel bad because I thought I was doing something wrong, but actually I just was living life on my own timeline. I was just really trying to see what else out there is in life. It's not just about what society wants me to be like. So yeah, I found it quite difficult to keep pushing up against this and to keep having the same conversations with people who didn't understand. Yeah, I would say these are the main challenges for me.
I can totally, relate with you, because women are mostly left, they don't know what exactly the society is expecting them to do. The other question is, what role has your family and partner played in your empowerment, and what kind of support you receive from them?
Thank you so much. This is a great question. I think for me personally, I've been very fortunate that my family have been very supportive. Like I have two sisters and one brother, and yeah, my dad and my mom, they never had any kind of expectation in terms of you should be doing this or you should be doing that. They really just supported what I want to do, and that made it so much easier for me to be able to just guilt without guilt, because I think as women we feel very guilty a lot of the time because we are made to feel that we're doing something bad if we're not doing the things that society wants and expects of us. We feel so much guilt about this because we obviously don't want to cause any conflict. We don't want to like do anything bad, but this is just how the society is. So I was very lucky that my family didn't have this kind of pressure on me to do that. And yeah, in terms of my partner, so I recently met someone on my course, my master's program, and he's actually from India. He's Bengali. So but this is it's been a really interesting, because for me it's really about, it's not about like, you know, me as a woman and him as a man in relationship. It's just we've tried to really cultivate a relationship that's just based on like love and respect and wanting to look out for our partner. So like simple things like if I'm cooking, then he will do the dishes, or if he's cooking, then I will do the dishes. So we have lots of conversations about like just how can we support each other in our daily lives. And it's not about yeah, you should be doing this because you're a woman. Like we have to, it takes a lot of courage, I think, for women to be able to speak up and say, actually, like, this is not really fair, or this is not the way it should be. And, you know, I've got this to do today. Can you please like make sure that this is done? So it takes, I understand it takes a lot of courage to be able to have this conversation and to break out of these kind of roles. But I'm very lucky that the term modern man was used earlier, so I'm going to go with this as well. I have, yeah, I would say a very modern man as a partner who also doesn't believe in these gender roles. So I feel very fortunate about this. And yeah, it's a daily thing that we talk about and we share. So having a relationship that's based on just respect and love is, I think, very important for women's empowerment, to make a woman feel comfortable and safe to be able to express her own desires and wants without being made to feel that it's wrong or it's bad, because it's not. It's just what we like, what we want as humans to live well. So yes.
That's really lovely to hear, Lucy, and I'm really happy for you. The other question goes like, according to you, what is the role of society in empowering women, and what benefits the society will reap by women empowerment?
Thank you so much. Another great question. I think the role of society is, I said, it's very simple. I think it's really just for anyone to challenge anything that goes against women's empowerment. And it doesn't even have to be like a conflict, like a shouting or a protest. It can just be like a, you know, this is not this, I don't feel respected. This is not how it should be. So, but this is not always easy for a woman to say this, especially in a room where she doesn't feel safe or where she doesn't feel that there are others like her. So I think bonds between women are very important to support each other. And I try to, you know, as I'm kind of taking up different roles, and some of these are like leadership positions, trying to bring other young women into these spaces as well. I think that's very important, that we really support each other, and there can be a tendency of like jealousy or these kind of things. But I think it's really important that we stand together and we understand that we're all really struggling against the same things. And if I win, it doesn't mean that someone has to lose, but we can all win together. And I think I try to, yeah, I hope that I try to really just challenge things when I feel that, when I can directly see that this is not, this is actually disempowering women, to, whether that's a quiet conversation somewhere else, to try to make the person understand, or if it's something that needs to be spoken, then yeah, I think it's a role of everybody to just understand what women's empowerment is. It's not about giving women more rights or giving them a privileged position. It's just about having the same respects and opportunities that everyone deserves. And there are some cases where women would need more support, and not seeing that as a privilege, but actually that's just so that we can manage all the other million things that we have going on in our lives. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Definitely,
Okay.
it did answer, and that's really great words of wisdom from you. The last but not the least question is, Lucy, you have spent a lot of time in India. What are the things you have learned from women you met here? And is there any message that you want to convey to us?
Thank you so much for this question. And I laugh because I'm in awe of like all of you women here today, and I feel a bit silly, like why am I here talking about women's empowerment when there's so many strong females in this space studying law. Like, my goodness, I can't even imagine being able to study this kind of thing. But in terms of Indian women, I think there's such a misconception, like Indian women are like victims, or they're like in these, like they're really struggling, or like they're poor, weak, helpless. Like a lot of, I guess, news stories that we hear about women in this country especially makes us feel sorry and makes us feel, oh, women are in India are living such bad lives and this. But actually, this is not the impression that I got. I'm really glad that when I came to India, I realized women are badass, man. Women are strong. Like, they are taking on so much more than like others, and it's not about feeling sorry or victims, but really celebrating women. So I don't have anything to say rather than I'm in awe of you, and you're my heroes, and yeah, keep on going and keep on doing what you're doing, because you're all amazing, and we're all in this together in different levels, but we're all in this together. And yeah, I've learned so much from each young woman that I met, and women. So we just got to keep going and yeah, stick together.
Truly an inspiration, Lucy. That's something interesting we all have got to know today. And I think that's the beauty of humanity, where no color, race, background, or culture matters. But the only thing matter is human supporting another human. So that's all we can, survive in this beautiful planet and happily and peacefully. So thank you so much, Lucy, for, listening us patiently. Over to you, Ruchi.
Thank you, Shivangi, for the Q&A session. I would like to extend heartfelt thanks to Miss Lucy Plummer for sharing her personal and work experiences with such a diversified profile on a global scale. Miss Lucy, I thank you for expressing your views, opinion, and idea that will definitely inspire all women to embark on a new journey of empowerment. Now, I request Aisha to take it further. Aisha?
Thank you, Ruchi. Before moving forward, we have reconnected with Deepa ma'am. So I would like to take this opportunity to extend my gratitude to her. True guidance is like a small torch in a dark forest, but gives enough light to make the next step safe. Deepa ma'am and Lucy ma'am, your words, your stories, experiences will definitely be that light for many present over here to take the next step safely. Thank you, ma'am, for that eye-opening discussions and encouraging us. Thank you all. Thank you both of you for that candor. Moving on, I urge Advocate Ashok Talwatkar, Deputy Chairman of People's Education Society, to briefly express his thoughts. Sir. I call upon Ashok Talwatkar, sir, Deputy Chairman of People's Education Society.
Aniket, could you please check?
Madam, can you hear me, madam?
Yes,
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Jai Bhim Namo Buddhaya. Today we are celebrating 152nd birth anniversary of greatest leader of our India, Mahatma Gandhi. And in this auspicious occasion, I'm immensely happy and to participate in this webinar organized by Ambedkar College of Law. चित्र दिसत नाही याच्यामध्ये. हॅलो, धनंजय फोन कर दिसते का? Ambedkar College of Law. Start my video असं म्हटलंय. ठीक आहे. Hello. Ambedkar College of Law, which is run by People's Education Society, established by our great leader Baba Sahib Ambedkar, Bharat Ratna. In this webinar, I have heard very thought-provoking and impactful speech of Lucy Plummer, UK, and Honorable Judge Deepa Gurjar Madam. She is also going to be participated. This event is organized by our principal, Mr. Waghulde, and one of the faculty, Professor S. Subhashchandra. Respected all guests, in this occasion, Baba Sahib Ambedkar established this People's Education Society, and aim and objective, by spelling out aims and objective of People's Education Society, Baba Sahib Ambedkar said, coming as I do from lowest strata of society, I know what is importance of education. Aim and objective of People Education Society is not merely educate a student, but to educate in such a manner that will promote moral, social, educational, and political equality and political democracy. And in order to bring out the change in nation. Today we are celebrating Mahatma Gandhi's anniversary, and what he did for our nation is a great, everybody knows about this. Our great saint, Gadge Maharaj, has also inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's life, and he took in a hand of cleaning program in our India. As I said that Baba Sahib, now Lucy Plummer madam has narrated very terrible and very horrific situation which India women are facing today. But Baba Sahib Ambedkar has strive upon and great work for emancipating the women of India by bringing our Hindu Code Bill. Hindu Code Bill is a really a charter of emancipation of Indian women. As well as I can say Mahatma Gandhi had did great job for emancipation of women strata of our Indian community. Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's People's Education Society will continue to work for the cause and principles which Mahatma Gandhi has left before us. I can further say that our society is our chairman, Honorable Mungekar sir, is today, he was supposed to participate in this program, but because of his some other engagement, academics engagement, and centenary of great leader Barrister Nathpai, he could not able to make this point to attend this function. Another trustee of our People Education Society who is with us, he joining with us in this program, Honorable our Dr. L.B. Waghmare Sahib. These both great leaders are serving this institution very honestly. But I can say that People's Education Society will continue to further participate in such a program which carry further the principles of Mahatma Gandhi, who had worked for Indian women's emancipation, as well as he has worked for downtrodden masses. And our country will always be grateful to him for his great work he did for our country. And I can I'm congratulating all participants, and I'm expressing my great thanks to Honorable Chief Guest Speaker, Shri Deepa Gurjar Madam, Honorable Judge of Session Court POSCO, and International Guest Speaker, Mrs. Lucy Plummer, UK Global Kindness Ambassador of UNESCO. I further say that this webinar will be a very thought-provoking and intellectually impactful for students can learn. I appeal all students to join this, one of the great occasion to learning. And I congratulate all my faculty staffs who have participated in this program, especially Professor S. Subhashchandra, and then Surbi Modak, Ayesha Nachan, Ruchi Gupta, Sabha Ansari, Vijaya Sonavne, and Shraddha Kapande, and Shivangi Singh. I congratulate all, and I express my thanks to Principal Waghulde, who has organized such a good and thought-provoking webinar. Thank you. Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
sir. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words and gracing us with your presence.
Thank you.
I would like to call Surbi ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ayesha. And thank you, our Deputy Chairman, Ashok Talwatkar, sir, for your appreciation and encouraging words for us. And now moving ahead with today's program, the women that's give me a chance. And we have seen so many examples where if given a chance, they actually reach the sky heights. In fact, the last week I was reading newspaper and a small article and one small few write-up in that write-up line said about IIT admission girls. The article said that in 1970, the number of girls in IIT were very less and rarely rather, but after that reservation of 20% for girls, in last 2-3 years, they have seen that there is actually exponential growth in the number of girls who are taking admission in IIT. That was because of the reservation. Anyway, that was just an example to see if given a chance, they can reach to such heights where IITians or AIMS or even judiciary higher services. Of course, politics we have seen. And then we heard our international speaker, Lucy Plummer also. Moving ahead now, next, I would like to extend my thanks to our chairman, sir, Dr. Balchandra Mungekar, Public Education Society. He was a former Vice-Chancellor and of University of Mumbai and a former member for Planning Commission. Also, he was a former member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha. We are so grateful to you, sir, for supporting and encouraging the college authorities and the student for such program where our personality development and our skill and talents are tested and improved on. Also, I am very grateful and thankful to Dr. L.B. Waghmare, our trustee for People Education Society, sir. All of you, I give my heartfelt thanks to you for such programs supporting us in this sense. Now, I would like to invite our principal Waghulde, principal sir, Shri Sanjay Waghulde sir, for his words and share his opinion about today's program and encouraging the students, participants, and addressing the guest as well. Sanjay Waghulde sir, over to you,
madam.
sir. Thank you.
Yes, madam. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Chief Guest Judge, madam, Srimati Deepa Gurjar, madam, guest speaker Lucy Plummer, madam, Chairman Sir Dr. Balchandra Mungekar, Deputy Chairman Sir Advocate Ashok Talwatkar, and faculty members, senior most faculty member Professor Subhashchandra, present faculty members, students, and guests. I am very thankful for your time and presence in the program to encourage our students. Next, I pay respect to the Mahatma Gandhi ji, and then my appreciation to all the performance organizers for today's program. It is indeed a matter of pride to see them presenting the event by all women students of our college. We have always tried to meet the standard of equality in our students by providing them opportunities to participate in studies and extra activities in our college. But be it academic moot court, debate competition, or anything, sports or entertainment programs, all of them encouraged to come forward and participate. We also celebrated Women's Day by acknowledging the contribution of women staff. It is our priority to provide safe environment for studies in college. Premises during the physical classes, they are always to welcome forward and express my idea to share the development with faculty. We hope to continue this practice in future and support them in every possible ways. I wish all of them all the best for such program. Keep organizing. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, sir, for your support and encouraging our students. We are really grateful for that. And yes, we will keep on doing such programs. Your support is there. Thank you, sir. Now, I would call upon my colleague, Vijayta Sonavane, for vote of thanks. Vijayta, over to you, video.
Good afternoon, all. I have been deemed with the honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks. Today's event truly has been very educating and inspirational. I would like to express my gratitude to our honorable international guest speaker, Ms. Lucy Plummer, and honorable chief guest speaker, Srimati Deepa Gurjar, to take out time from their busy schedule to grace the event. Thank you for inspiring and encouraging us with your enriching words on this special day. A special thanks to our in-charge principal, Mr. Sanjay Waghulde, for providing immense support to make this event successful. I extend my gratitude to our senior faculty member, Professor S. Subhashchandra, for always being there for us. I would like to thank respected members of the management from People's Education Society, Chairman Dr. Balchandra Mungekar, Deputy Chairman Advocate Ashok Talwatkar, and Trustee Dr. L.B. Waghmare. Sirs, we thank you for your presence. I would like to thank all our respected faculty members, non-teaching staff, and guests And last but not the least, our beloved audience. A big thank you to all student fraternity without whom this event wouldn't have been a memorable one. My heartfelt thanks goes out to all my team members of the organizing committee of this event for working so hard tirelessly for the past few weeks to make this event a victory. Shivangi Singh, Surbhi Modak, Aisha Nachan, Shraddha Kapadne, Ruchi Gupta, Sabha Ansari, and myself, Vijayta Sona. Girls, we rock. Once again, I thank each one of you for being present today. Well, all the women out there, before we log off, here is an appeal for empowerment. She was powerful, not because she wasn't scared, but because she went on so strongly despite the fear. So, ladies, be yourself, accept yourself, value yourself, forgive yourself, bless yourself, express yourself, trust yourself, love yourself, empower yourself. That's it. Here we are women of the tomorrow. Signing off for today. Goodbye. Take care. Now I request our in charge principal Waghulde sir to give me the permission to conclude this event. Waghulde sir.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, Vijayta.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We now conclude our program.
Thank you.
Yes.
Lucy.
Hey.